the game now. It'd be a lot easier. Um, yeah, how you doing, Chrissy? You off on your way out? Are you to work? Have a lovely day at work. Um, you know,
WordPress.com is professional
and
WordPress.
what is going on with the sounds? Um, so yeah, did you manage to see the 2025 thing? And the 2026, sorry, readings. I'm still sorting out my technology here. I do apologise. Yep, that's not right. I need to get that sorted. Let me just sort out because then I can see the comments. Chakra Vision, how you doing, Kim? You okay? Lovely to see you. Yeah, so put out the collective 2026 reading. Welcome to everybody here, and it's gonna be a funny old year. I think very much a funny old year in sense of it's the feeling I got all the way through it, which was really sort of strange in a way. It was almost as if like, and this is why I think AI came back up in it. Mr. Bove, how you doing, Frasier? Lovely Mercury retrograde, yeah, certainly. White Feather, lovely to see you. Um, you know, Lynn, how you doing? She good to be here as we start another month. Yeah, we do start another month. Coral, how you doing? Lovely to see you. Yes. So 2026 is just around the corner, isn't it? I'm doing okay, Kim. Thanks. Yeah, I'm okay. You know what it's like. Life gets a bit lifey sometimes, but yeah, no, I'm okay. Thanks. Yeah, can't complain. I could do, but well, there's no point. Might as well just get on with life, really. And this is where, your ups and downs can be a little bit easier to deal with when we approach it a little bit like that. So, yeah, I'm all right. Thanks a lot, Kim. Yeah, 2026. I didn't see any questions. Wondering if there was any sort of like questions out there and so forth on the on 2026 year, and it is going to be a humding. And as I say, it felt like almost. I want to say it felt like the responsibility was taken away from the human, but it's not quite that. It's like, it's certainly not the control. Um, Maybe the perspective. That's what it felt like. It's like we're getting a different perspective on life. It's a real hangman sort of moment, I think, 2026. And it's going to make the truth sort of really shine, to become very physically present within 2026. That's how it feels to me. You know, how's it feel to you? How's it all, 2026? What's your sort of general feeling of it, about it all? I feel bad asking questions because it's been a year since my last session with you. Oh, is it really? I haven't seen you for some time. I hope you've been well. How you been doing? Well, if you've had, you know what I mean, if you're out living life for a year, that's good. You know, I hope you're living life and enjoying life, even though it can be sometimes quite difficult. But don't worry about asking questions. More than welcome. I only had a personal question for you, which I put earlier. But oh yeah, did you put it earlier? What, here? Did you put it on here, or was it on the reading? If it was on the reading, I'll go and have a look at it, because I didn't see any specific questions, as it were. I really like to get a meeting with you, but I cannot figure out how. I'm really bad with technology. It's me and you too, White Feather. I understand that totally. Look, I'll post a link, shall I? I'll try and find a link. Hang on, yeah, I've definitely got a link. Let me just post a link quickly on there, and I'll pin it to the top. So then you can, it's then you can book it up from there. Da, 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 da. There we go. Let me pin that. So yeah, you can. You should be able to click on that link, and then it's pretty much you sort of like choose your day, choose your hour, and then it all sort of like gets all sort of fixed up, as it were. So yeah, but I understand about technology. Sometimes it can be certainly overwhelming. Lynn, yeah, I did see your question on Capricorn. You wanted what was it about? Something like you wanted to talk about what you've been discovering and stuff like that. Yeah, it's yeah, I think it's maybe there's a sort of presentation that you need to do or something like that for what you're sort of putting out there. But yeah, I think, was that the question? Let me go back and find out. I thought it was. I thought I saw it in there. Let me just go in to the community. Sorry, now I'm wandering around. There. Or can you repost it here? That'd probably be a lot quicker than me trying to find it. Just so everybody knows as well. Everybody knows what the question was. Already going. Okay, so no. I'm just checking out the questions. A lot to share. There's a lot to share. Well, I definitely see this is where I think like a collective Zoom call would be a lot better to do these sort of things. So then we can actually sort of like converse a lot quicker and what have you. Hope you're doing well. So this is from Mr. Bove. A lot to share. Thank you, Tom. The company is moving along. Excellent. I hope you're doing good also. Yeah, I'm doing very well, thanks. Can't complain. Life is manifesting. So yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, it's going well. White Feather's question. My boyfriend just broke up with me, Mustafa. I'm hoping we get back together. Is this what you're looking for? But I like the truth 100%. I do not hear there was a commercial. Oh, right, okay. Okay, let's have a look in for you next year. Do you want us to look at that on live? Has he moved away, Mustafa? Or is he still in the area? Yeah. For the moment, certainly for the moment, he seems to have let go on his side. It seems to be that way, to be honest. Yeah, he seems to have let go. He's still here. He's still there in the area, is it? Okay. Let's just see what's going on over the next sort of like year over that. Let me take that. When's that? I think you'll have to be patient. There's a possibility, certainly in September, October, rather than at the beginning of the year. And see what happens there. It seems like there's something. Either he works something out. Maybe is that the sort of thing? It's maybe difficult for him to sort of position or something like that. Has that been the problem with it? And he seems to have sort of moved away from the relationship at the moment, but certainly in September, October, there's a possibility where he may have understood something, and do Do you live in the same town? So is it like, there's a chance meetings and stuff like that? Yeah. Is that possible? Is there a chance meeting sort of like that? Um, so I just want to check that other message from Lynn. I left a message affecting my manifestation, freedom, and abundance. I'll get on to that, Lynn. I was deja vu before. Ah, yeah, deja vu. Okay. Hello, Mr. Buff. Deja vu. Banned my channel. Okay. Really? What do they ban your channel for? I will try to refine my question with basic info in support of question. Yes, I will be setting a next appointment with you for Zoom soon. It's time. Okay. People tend to do that. I've been I've been looking. I still have people that come see me when I saw them when they were 4 or 5 as kids, and I still see they come back and see me now, many years later, and they're obviously 20 odd years later, they're completely changed and stuff like that, and and people find their rhythm of coming to sort of. I seem to have keys at the right time to help people find solutions for situations, be it physical, moral, spiritual, whatever, energetical. I just seem to have that sort of timing aspect to it all. So he's an hour away, is he? He might come to you. I'd be patient. I'd be patient and and use the rest of the time to explore all the avenues that. It's lovely being in a relationship, and I think everybody understands that when you are in a relationship, obviously you give a part of yourself to that relationship, so then you no longer have that part for yourself, and use this time to sort of explore the bits that are good for you. I think more than anything else, I don't think he's going anywhere per se, and I think if more than anything else, you've got a good chance that in September, October, there might be an understanding that's been made, so therefore he might. It looks a lot more favourable. Either it's him, or maybe it could well be someone else, someone new. Last time I met you, I just discovered you recovered from COVID and eye surgery. Was finally making a natural topical first aid that I'd developed after 5 years in 2017. Oh yeah, I think yeah, exactly. I have now an office in Colorado. Excellent. How's it going in Colorado? Fantastic. Yeah, it was. Was it even a bit more than a year ago, maybe? But that's good. Excellent. It's good to hear you're sort of you on your pathway. You're doing it, and which is exactly what 2026 is all about. You know, it is about doing one's pathway, but in consciousness of it connecting with everything that is around us: people, community, nature, finances, physical, everything. In a way, I think 2026 is going to. People who are doing that won't even know the S show that may be happening in the world, and this is where come back to that whole idea of like that. It's a point of view that we don't have upon life and the human existence. And that point of view helps us to see through the prism of life in a different way, which then makes sense. And I think this has something to do with quantum mechanics as well. And I think there's going to be, within quantum mechanics, we're going to find the mechanics rather than being it completely or, almost completely random. I think there is a structure to that randomness, like chaos, the chaos theory. So it's calm out of chaos or order out of chaos. That pendulum exists. And I think we're looking at a different kind of order or a different kind of way of being and engaging in life. Kevin, I have, look, hi, evening. I have got your email. I haven't had a chance to reply to it yet. I will do. I will do very soon. I'll do it tomorrow. I'll reply to it tomorrow. But I have seen it. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for. I didn't get the first one. Didn't see the first one. Do apologise. But yeah, 2026. My medicine. So this is from Misty above. The medicine is on many hands. 2 years now. Yeah, through divine guidance, it's been successful. Uh, but so slow going, heavy going. Yeah. What star sign are you again? What star sign are you again, Mr. Bub? Official sales have yet to start, and I can't even create that perfect logo before ensuring. Trying to do a logo. We'll have a look at it if you want. You know, could have a look at that. Shirley, how you doing? Okay, lovely, Kevin. Yeah, I will speak to you soon. I'll send you an email during the week. Yeah, so 2026 is. I don't know if you saw the whole sort of Scorpio tiger. Ooh, a tiger with a sting in its tail. Now that's lethal. Is anyone having incredible vivid dreams? Something feels different as 25 ends and I approach 2026. Do you see war or famine in the UK? Oh yeah, and war and famine in the UK. Let's have a look at that. Yeah. Vivid dreams. I have had a couple of dreams. I don't normally dream, really, to be honest. But when I do dream, they tend to be pretty vivid. And they have come back up to the surface. But yeah, I tend to. I don't know if it's. I'm just evacuate a lot during the day. That's possibly what it could well be. You wanted, Lynn. You wanted to know about manifestating. Was that about it? You know, can you chuck your question on the comments there, and then I can sort of like we'll have a look at it. Did you see war and famine in the UK? This is from Frisia. Seems complicated, to be honest, the UK. It seems like there's pockets of complications. And I was talking in the 2026, I think it was in the 2026. It's like, pretty sure end up doing a lot of readings, but moments when reality comes together and it makes perfect sense. And I was sort of saying 2026 is like a year when these pockets become more and more frequent. So they're in a rhythm that come in. So they want to come in, and then another one to come in 2 months later, and then after that it'll come in 1.5 months, then only a month, then half a month, and then before you know it, there's another wave coming in. So it actually gives us a sense that things are speeding up, but they're not really. You know, it's just crescendoing to a point of focus, basically. And I think the UK. I think some people will be very fanatical about things, and there'll be I think the silent majority will be just kind of going, "What the really?" sort of thing. And I think it's that, and I think it could create complications for what do you call it, redistribution and stuff like that. I don't see actually famine. Supply shortage, yeah, I see more that than sort of famine per se. It's just like I don't know, sort of Bristol sort of runs out of flour or something like that, so you can't get any bread. So it just seems like there's going to be moments of complicated stuff that if we if you focus on it, you make that the sphere that we understand. And what we've got to start doing, and I think this came out in the messages from energy this week, is very much along the lines of starting to realize that, I was speaking to Sim about this, about whether, your intention, where your intention goes, energy goes. And I was sort of saying, well, I think energy is already there. It's only that we haven't paid attention to it. And now we're paying attention to it. We see that there's lots of energy within that thing, within that direction in life. And I think these moments of reality is these moments where we can consciously enact a new reality into existence. And it does play into the quantum mechanics in a way, that we can make anything. But in the material world, it's like Buddha understood there was a great difference between the body and the spirit. And that's with his meditation of 49 days. At the end of 49 days, essentially he understood that for the spirit doesn't need anything. It may want something, but it doesn't need anything. And the body actually needs something. It may not necessarily want something, but it actually needs something. And that's to do with food, that's to do with breathing, that's to do with all of those sort of things. And if you can put those needs and those wants together, that's when you can then really create a reality that is in front of us. And focusing on that reality and putting the two together is going to be, we can create a reality rather than creating like a physical wall. Like some people take it to a step where you kind of take the spirit side and you put it completely in the physical side. And it's sort of saying, well, that wall existed. No, it only existed because you imagined it existed. And that's all to do with quantum mechanics and so forth. But, at the end of the day, there was someone who built that wall and they have a reality as well. And for me to sort of say that wall doesn't exist until I actually realize that exists means that every other reality apart from my very own reality doesn't exist. Your reality doesn't exist. And I don't buy into that. I really don't buy into that. I buy into the idea that even plants have their say on how things, turn out in the universe. Fish, animals, everything has its say. Three-Eye Atlas has its say, although it is a rock flying through space, people. And it does emit radio waves. When it offshoots, when you get oxygen burning in the gases and it lets off these gases, it sends out a radio wave. It's not sending out a signal. And it just made me laugh, the idea that the spaceship had flown all the way across the universe to get to our solar system. And then when it gets here, it kind of goes, has anybody got the radio? Let's see what's on FM. That sort of thing. And it's just like, kind of like, really? Wow, that seems like a really obscure way to do things. So I think everything has its consciousness. And this is where I think there may be stuff going on around in the UK that is in pockets. But there is more people that standing around kind of going, do you know what, I want this. This is so much more fun. This is so much more enjoyable. And that reality there, I think, is going to become more and more sort of important, more and more sort of, that's the real truth. And once we start realizing that, we can actually kind of go, do you know what, in that case, that bubble of reality is going to come back round. And this is the whole thing with, which I was saying in 2026, at the moment it's still quite a lot of distance between each big bubble. But there is more coming through. And eventually, I think by the time we get to 2027, it's full steam ahead. And so what we focus on is going to be really important. So in certain aspects across the UK, you might well say that there is war and famine. But I wouldn't put it across the board, no. I wouldn't put it, it doesn't seem to be like the whole of the UK. is inflamed in some sort of like mass civil war. No, I wouldn't say that. But that's there is an interesting thing. I think also that I do think all wars are going to come to an end because of this new way of looking at life. Because it would just seem so ludicrous to actually do a war. Everyone would just kind of go, what the, are you serious? We're going to do a war? Man. No, we're not. Stop it. Calm down. That sort of thing. I think that's gonna, completely sort of like doing, completely, sort of change reality. We are going to change reality. It's not, no one's going to change it for you. It will change whether you like it or not. You can either participate in it or not. It's up to you. And then you got to choose what, or you recognize what is the most obvious path for you to be following. What is the most obvious reality for you to be following? And obviously, this is where we can get massive ideas and massive dreams. But there's a lot of steps you need to take in order to get to that massive dream. And you've got to be prepared to do the long haul. And it could take you decades to do it. Mr. Bub, I want to call you Deja Vu again now. Anyway, Mr. Bub, question was just about business motions and making decisions on distributions beyond serving the Amish community and a few small shops. Will 2026 be a smoother flow to roll with? Okay. So let's just have a look on the financial side or just the growth of the business from there. Do you know what? I think you're actually on the right track. I think because there could well be complications in a lot of aspects of life, and because of the magnetic inversion sections that keep coming through, I think there's going to be issues with technology that is going to make farmers markets and local shops a lot more favourable. And I got a funny feeling, the way I look at your business or your business growth, it's not like a poplar tree that goes straight up like that, but doesn't take out a lot of width. You could do an oak, which takes a long time. It has a lot of width, but it has also quite a lot of height, and etc. But I see it much more sort of growing width than I do see height. So I think within your local market, I think that's the start of it. And it doesn't stop you from sort of like kind of going, okay, I'm delivering now to say like 3 cities that are around you in Colorado and having several clients in each sort of city and what have you. And I think you got to spread like that, I think, rather than just trying to go up to the internet and go, shoom. You could do, but I think you will get more steady growth that way. I think you'll find it challenging because obviously once you put yourself on the internet and doing that, your market space is also taken up by companies that have got billions of dollars. Do you know what I mean? So I think you'll be that foundation factor. I think is actually could really work in your favour this coming year. So it should be a lot easier where you're getting orders in, but without you having to do too much. So if you imagine around your area where you are, where you live, or where you've got your distribution and stuff like that, you've got that section there, and that's your market space. And then you've got another place that's your market space, another place your market space. If you can do a triangle around your central hub, I think that'd be a really good step. And then from there, in the following year, you make another triangle on those other triangles. So before you know it, that's when it starts growing, if you know what I mean. Because I think you need, and I think this is what is going to be the future business, is going to be built upon grassroots companies. So it doesn't matter whether the company is really big, it's whether they've gone through that process of being a grassroots family run or single person run sort of business that grows and takes place within the, within the functioning of the world. And once, and then it can go national, international, there's no problem. But it's sticking to those original values of when you start your business, and having that sort of like, when I did, I used to run an organic supermarket. I had an organic supermarket. It was 25 years ago, my word. It was 25 years ago? About that. Mad, amazing, amazing time. Really enjoyed it. Used to sort of sell organic fruit and veg and stuff like that, from growers to wholesalers. I used to do that sort of thing, and then started like a little supermarket, and I had a flat rate on everything I did. So I had a percentage that didn't differentiate between products. I kept a flat rate that went across from one side to the other. And what I wanted to put on the price tag, where you see it in the shelves, I wanted to put the shop is taking this percent, transport is taking this percent, transformers taking this percent, and the growers are taking this percent. So you know how much everybody's taking out the pie when you get it off the shelf. And I thought that would be a really honest. No one really wanted to do that. That was 25 years ago. It was a bit ahead of its time, I think, maybe. But I think we'll get there, and we are getting there. To that sort of thing. So just finishing off with Misty. I think that's going to be your best way of growth. And I think you'll be quite surprised, actually, because it will give you. The thing is, it will give you solid growth, which is much more important than flashing pans. Okay, because flashing pans becomes addictive. Be careful of it. Okay, I'm glad you like the answer. What was your ideas for each? What made you come out with that? That question. Shaman Carr. Will my psychic readings be stronger? I work with families, animals, and do removal of dark entities and demon slaying. Right, okay. I know it's wild. It is wild. It's a great thing. I love doing that sort of thing, cleaning houses out, that sort of thing. I do it all the time. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. So your psychic readings, is this for personal people? Is that what your psychic readings is for? Exactly. It's important to me to remain sacrosanct because of the lives and animals it's lifting up. Totally. No, end nods. Feeling right. What was that? Laugh in your head. Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good. It's lifting up lives. This is it. We all started lifting together. We wouldn't have to lift one another. We'd just do it. Nice work, Shaman. Love it. Yeah. Let's have a look at you, Shaman Carr. Let's have a look at that side. Just checking if there wasn't. Lynn, did I get your question through? I did, didn't you? Not so much a question. So I completely hang on. I will get you onto you, Shaman. Let me because let me just have a look at Lynn. So I started off with it. Okay, there. I missed the question after it. I started talking about dreams. That's what it was. Started waffling off. Do apologise. Not so much a question, although I have many. I just wondered how 2026 supports my manifesting freedom and abundance. Thank you. Okay, so that's that whole blurb thing that these moments of spherical reality that you start kind of realizing everything fits. And once you can notice how you approach that situation or what it feels like within that situation or what is also beneficial for you, that's what you can press upon. And I'm not saying necessarily beneficial for you to get loads of money and get really, really rich. You may well do. But then again, what do you do with that money afterwards? That's the most important thing. I think manifestation of abundance, as it were, it's depending on what you would mean by abundance. Some people don't need a lot. Some people need a lot more things. You know what I mean? And that depends on the sort of lifestyle you're living as well. So what you're going after now, you're going to need to travel a lot. You're going to need to, invest a lot. And in that case, you need it to work to a certain level, if you know what I mean. And that will be abundantly enough for you to do what you got to do. That's how it will sort of work, really. If you want abundance, like who was Donald Duck's uncle? What was his uncle called? Anyway, wasn't Daffy, but yeah. So it's like it's like that. I think you're very capable of manifesting your abundance. If sometimes we try too hard as well, and when we're trying too hard, it's almost as if like Uncle Scrooge. Yes, it was Uncle Scrooge, Lynn. Yeah, thank you. Uncle Scrooge. Yeah, so I completely spaced what I was saying then. Hi, Julie. Yes, Scrooge. He, humbug. I said it was going to be a humdinger of a year, and I think it is going to be a humdinger of a year. As I think the quantum mechanics is the changing quantum mechanics, right? The way in which we approach quantum mechanics is going to change, I think. And because we change the way we're approaching it, we're obviously changing the view that we have upon quantum mechanics. And if you know anything about quantum mechanics, there's the viewer who views. And when you're not viewing this, it turns out differently to when you are viewing it. Hello. And I think the way in which we look at quantum mechanics and interact with it is going to completely that's going to really help us change. When we were trying too hard, I will get back to that. It will completely change the way in which we develop our reality. Sometimes when we're trying too hard and our expectations get a little bit too much, because we're almost sort of like kind of going, I've been trying so hard, I deserve this. And yeah, you probably do deserve it. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's got to be in alignment with everything else that's going on in the world. And, it's like sometimes it's like money is like... It's like the stick that the dog chased after, and the dog is sort of like work and what have you. And sometimes the dog doesn't want to give you the stick back, and the dog wants you to chase it. And sometimes, once you stop chasing it, all of a sudden the dog comes back and puts the stick at your feet. And it's a little bit like that. It's knowing when to go and when not to go, as it were. So, first things first, don't try too hard. I think that's probably also about that whole idea of, life should be fun. It should be fun, and it should be enjoyable. Kayan, hi, how you doing? Juliet, hello. Okay, let's get back to Shaman Car. Okay, you know what car is, obviously. Yeah. It's like the Holy Spirit, isn't it? In South American, in South America, isn't it? Isn't it the car? A little bit like Chi or Prana and stuff like that. No, it's not. It's like the Om, isn't it? It's the Om of South America. You're very good at this, Lynn. When Capricorns, when they apply themselves, they're pretty good. If they don't apply themselves, they tend to be all over the show. Okay, but when we do apply and we have a routine to follow, and I think that's what you need to have within your manifestation thing, a sort of routine of putting it out there, a routine of creating it. Once you get into that routine, you can almost, It's like a song comes on and you know how to do the dance. That's how manifestation is going to work in the future. It's like you get into the rhythm, you feel the rhythm, you kind of go, "Well, now I know how to push it." And jazz hands, that sort of thing. So, divine breath. That's right, Carl. That's right. Yeah, divine breath. So it's like the pneuma, as they say in Greece, or chi energy, or prana, and all of that sort of thing. It's the same thing we get across the universe. It's a universal force, the breath of God, as they say. So let's have a look on Shaman. Yeah, I was asking Shaman. Sorry, I did ask. I don't know whether you answered. Um, Psychic readings for what? Who? For one-to-one clients? For what sort of how is it? Literally just sort of like and go in? Do you use a tool? What um, do you have any more sort of background on that sort of thing? Yeah. No. Eva's just off to bed. Yeah. Can you give me? Can you? Because it is. I think your psychic reading of the world is pretty good. I think you understand that. Is that sort of like I talk about when I come across spirits and stuff like that, and you're cleaning places out. There was this one castle that was a 900 year. It was built in 900. Started getting built in 900, and it's on top of a hill in the Pyrenees, and it goes in this horseshoe sort of shape. And then bits were added on and stuff like that. And there was this young girl there that was she came from like the 1500s or something like that. And as they were trying to renovate the house, they was having lots of accidents. There was loads of things that went wrong. Just to a point where a good friend of mine, broke his ankle. And I said, well, okay, I'm going in there, and I sorted it out. And she was really quite scary, any little girl. But like she was really obviously she'd been trapped for like 400 years, and I think she was a little bit overcooked, and it's and yeah it's and it's sort of like I don't know why I started this thing, but anyway, it's like I just had to get rid of it, and it's like within that moment there was also in that being in that space there, being psychic for the world and what's going on with the world. Could be, you seem to be very good at that, and certainly dealing with spirits and stuff like that. So it's one to one. One to one. What do you use anything? With either the ether, the whole family. I work. What does that say there? It's with the whole family. She worked with the whole family. Oh, you work with the whole family. There you go. That's what it is. You work with the whole family. Okay. This is it's the same thing of what when I'm doing healing, you end up sort of seeing, I see the kids, and then I may see the parents, and I see the grandmothers and the grandfathers and everything like that. And there is a whole sort of thing that goes along with it. And there was, transgenerational trauma is an interesting thing. People say you can you can heal across the family. You can stop that aspect happening within that family. And when you do stop an aspect happening within a family, what that is doing is shutting that book within the Akashic library of that section of understanding. So if we've understood everything, and it's not just the individual cases here, because if you're looking to be reincarnated and you want to have a particular experience, and to have that particular experience you need that trauma that is within the family. So therefore, that family then just carries it through like a service in a way, so people can understand life. And that learning process will come to an end, and it should do probably, especially if it's a trauma. And everything seems like it needs to be in its right timing and stuff like that. So I totally get that working with family. But what I was saying is like you're literally just working with energy. You're not like using like tarot cards. You're not using like things like that. Or that's what I was sort of saying when I said you use anything. Shaman. Because is that what you want to be doing, more of that than clearing out spirits? You will do, obviously. And is the family, because there's one thing that seems to be holding you back on that. And that seems to be the fact that you're putting it down, you want to work with the whole family. And maybe the families are not ready to do that yet. Maybe it's working with an individual to start with. And I would stick to that with the individual and allow the family to eventually come, because that's how it happens. That's what I was explaining here a moment ago. That's how it sort of opens up towards the family. So, maybe bringing it in sort of like generational. Yes, generational. Yeah, it's like I meet people when I'm doing, and you obviously show me, all of you. I get it that you sort of like you understand all of this and sort of, but maybe I'm just trying to explain it for maybe for people who don't know. Anyway, it's like sometimes within my case, in my experience, when I'm working with one person, there is a moment that they can pay to a particular trauma within that family. So when you do that sort of healing, or when that person goes through that healing process, rather than, it's the people who actually go through that process. When they go through that process, and sometimes it is quite difficult to go through that process. It's not necessarily the easiest. I don't wander around with a magic wand, sort of like take away all your ills and woes just like that. There has to be an understanding that goes along with it. And that's the same thing with that whole sort of family thing. And that is that whole thing of, and it's like the Akashic Library is purifying itself. It's healing itself by closing off chapters in books that we don't really want to explore anymore. And that's that whole generational sort of thing. I don't think any of us have got the authority to turn around and say, right, I'm going to press this button and I'm going to close that chapter in the Akashic Library. It has to. It's a timing thing. The person who's going through it, that you're doing the one-to-one with, like their family and situations that have come to the surface, so everybody sees life. There may be arguments within the family, which needs to be, in order for that domino effect that you can send back down, which can then close off that aspect of the human existence. And that is that whole transgenerational sort of thing. But you can't force it upon the rest of your family. Because then, this is why your singular reality is not the only one that's in process here. That's why when we start getting things together and start having common sense, that's when the collective reality can really flip. And it's like Othello. That's what it's like. The game Othello. It's like, hang on a second. I've missed out on all the comments here as well. Okay, so Nikota, bless, that was so lovely to hear about the young girl being stuck. Yeah, she was really, but she was like, yeah, she didn't need to be stuck. She was really done in, unfortunately. Very, very aggressive. But once you put her in the chair and put her in the light, all the sort of just kind of like that. And she was alright. She went away. She went off lovely, peacefully. no tarot. So yeah, dealing with a lot. I also look at it at the moment. I seem to be. This is what I look at it in the way of my work as well. It's like, when you say like dark entities, I mean, yeah, they're dark entities, but I'm the messenger, not my problem. I'm no one's judge. You off, go in the direction of the light, please, and then we can sort the chaff and the wheat. You know what I mean? That's the sort of thing. Everybody's going to the same place for me. Everyone's going up there, no worries. This is that staircase that's just behind me. That's what I saw. So, and you send everyone, because, somebody's heaven is going to be is another person's hell, sort of thing. So, yeah, so, it's like, dealing with dark entities or hectic entities they just need help more than anything else. I think everybody that you're finding between the lot, and as I say, we're squeezing like a sponge. We're squeezing that layer of reality and getting all the spirits out of that layer of reality. So then the conflict can come to an end, because it's that reality there that's creating the complications and the conflicts and stuff like that. And as we do that, that's when the Othello thing comes around, where basically you put on a black stone and a black stone on the other side, and all the white stones turn black, or you can do it the other way, obviously, and everything turns white. And I think this is what's happening, and it's a knock-on effect that each time we put a stone down, even more then start coming over, and it's like a wave of reality more than anything else. So yeah, they probably do get healed. It's like healing. What you're doing is, in theory, is like you're healing the Akashic library. So you're healing multitudes at the same time but you don't have to worry about it. Just don't have to think about them. Just do it, and that's what it's doing. So it's really nice. Really nice. Next question. I'm going to move on, but I think you could be doing a lot more if you keep it singular and don't try and do the whole family, as it were. The actual physical family. That's what I was sort of saying. But you will get, before you know it, you'll get to help the whole sort of thing. And sometimes it takes a bit of time. Sometimes you do one that releases a lot. Okay, I need to do your uncle now. So I do your uncle, that releases the next thing. And before you know it, the whole thing sort of like gets sorted. Oh yeah, when renovation starts, Lynn, totally. When the renovation starts, the spirits get moving. They do. They don't like it. But I think this little girl, she wanted the castle to be gone. Obviously, she had a really bad feeling about what happened to her there, and she wanted it to crumble away. And and I was sort of saying, no, it can't happen like that. Bagpuss, how you doing? I've put my land up for sale as having problems with the council. Will it sell soon? This is the thing with the barn, isn't it? Down in Cornwall or something like that. Been doing humanity work in Uganda. Oh yeah, how's that been going? I hope that's been going well. And now thinking of moving there. Not sure what to do about that. Okay. You're definitely projecting that way. It's like you're making a bridge to there. I feel it's like a Five of Cups scenario, that you've got to say goodbye to something. Could be the land, but also obviously the UK a lot. And but if you just look behind you, you got the Two of Cups, and that's where I think your heart is. And then you got the bridge that then takes you to a whole new town and a whole new life. And I think just looking in your energy, that's certainly what you're trying to project. So if that's what you're trying to manifest, let's see how that sort of goes. When's the best time, really? So you're looking at May, going over for May, June, July, around that period, that April, May, I would think more than anything else. Is that where you're looking to go? Is that when you're looking to go over? Um, yeah. Obviously, when you go to a new place, it takes time. Even if you know it, it takes time to find the feet because you're now there, and April, May. That's what I want. What's going on in April, May? Have you got plans to go back there in April, May? I forgot to look for the land. Okay, let's have a look at that land. I was looking at you projecting. That was my problem. Okay, let's get into looking at your land here. Um, okay, I can't. July. July looks like a good moment for sale. I think it's going to take a bit of time. Even if you put it up for sale now, is there no way of getting some sort of clarity from the council? Because even if you do sell it and you got that clarity, I think that would be a lot better for you. Yeah, a lot better for you. Ah, shame it. I've just seen your thing. Oh, let me have it. Can I? There you go. Look at that. Ah, thank you very much. Really do appreciate it, man. Really do appreciate it. Keep up the good work and tell us how it's going on every now and then. Be good to hear your antics. I'm sure everyone will be up for it. Oh man, lovely. Uh, Beyond my wildest dreams. I've got to have dreams to start with, Shane. I've got to have dreams to start with. Let me have who's that? Tina says, how do you know if you have a dark attachment? How do you know if you have a dark attachment? That's an interesting sort of thing. Yes, in Devon. Okay, so we're just going to finish off Bagpuss and we'll come back to you, Tina. Was there anybody else after that? Just wanted to make sure. Countless moving parts in quantum mechanics certainly is. Okay, and did you hear what I said about quantum mechanics next year? You know. Okay. Okay, so I've met someone as well, but will be leaving the UK behind. Okay, yeah. Thinking March, yeah, that sounds right. I think actually thinking March will be great, but I actually think I got a funny feeling you're going to be. It's more April, May. April, May. I think it would be better for you. Is the person that you've met going with you? Let me have a look at that. Is the person that you've met going with you? That'd be yeah, Joe. Yeah, Joe. Is that person thinking of going with you, Joe? I do remember. I'm the worst in the world with names, but I do remember that you were Joe. Don, can I bring my medicine and myself to the UK and France with you? I'm in the UK at the moment. I'm not in a position to do anything like that, really, to be honest. Are you joking? I'm sorry, I didn't see the next bit. Jesus. I'm not happy with. I'm not happy working with many American shop owners. Oh, okay. Attitudes, jealousy, ridiculousness, whereas happy maturity gone. Yeah, well, you know what I mean. Common sense is going to be coming back for you. Common sense was. No, they live in Uganda, and I think they really want you to be there. I think that's a good thing. It's like, you know, I think I think it works well. I think it works well, and I think, you know, what you're enjoying doing. um, you know what you're trying to do, Misty. Thank you very much. Wow, thanking you very much indeed. Very much appreciated. Um, Can't do another thing there. No. I'm really quite touched when people, you know what I mean. It really does sort of like. Anyway, um, yeah, he seems to be. He wants to. There's a definite attraction going on there. A really good attraction going on, and I think you do. You will need help, um, even if it's just with administration and stuff like that, and also just, you know, just finding your feet. I think it's going to help. I think that would help you really well. But I think the land is much more in. Um, what did I say? July, is it? July, was that right? July? Yeah, 7th month, 8th month. So July, August, maybe. You know, that's what it seems like for that. But it'd be good if you could get some sort of like wording from the council, and stuff like that. I think that would be really helpful, for you. But I think you're definitely going the right way. Indulgences. So appreciate your quantum indulgences and heartfelt talent. Thanks, thank you very much, Mr. Above, Mr. Above. Thank you very much. Yeah, that all ties into the AI thing as well. That I think next year, and it's those bands that came out was in one was in March, I think, and the other one was in sort of October, November, if I'm not mistaken. You know, looking, yeah, it seems about right. And I think that's got to do with also um, pole shift. I think that's got a lot to do with that as well. I think there's going to be complications with technology, but basic technology like ATMs and stuff like that. You know, I don't think it's going to be the crash of technology, but I think it's just going to be complicated for technologies, which will, you know, I don't think we're going to lose the internet. That's not what I'm getting, but I do think it's going to be complicated to run systems on Wi-Fi and stuff like that in the next year, and we'll have two moments where it sort of really happens, and you know, you can still connect to the internet through a LAN cable and stuff like that, you know, direct cable, and when you do, I think this is where it leaves people time and space to then allow sort of like maybe sort of like AI to give us a different sort of perspective on life, which then allows us to apply the quantum mechanic. And I want to say something else about the quantum mechanic as well. And I did mention this in the video the other day. I was trying to find it in my head whilst I was speaking. But you know the two splits for the experiment. Imagine if you could make that where the two slits are, if you can make it like a wave. Okay, so you can get different orientations. So the orientations of the slit will be, so it will catch particles from different areas. So if you can imagine, Sully, how you doing? If you imagine taking taking those slits, putting them on a wave, and then moving them along like that. So then, and orientating the slits. So then, therefore, you can choose, and this is what Ohm said in the 1933 thing. And also, you know, Einstein said about sort of quantum mechanics, you know what I mean? God doesn't play dice. And I think a big understanding is actually we have a lot more control over quantum mechanic than we actually think. And if we sort of like orientate those slits, so then we're choosing what parts of what reality we can then allow through into what we would deem as our reality in the future. And that is how the manifestation thing is going to really change things. So all of a sudden, our relationship with quantum mechanics, where at the moment quantum mechanics saying like any reality is possible. And yeah, it's true, any reality is possible. But if you're just going to sit there with those two slits constantly in the same place, you're going to get pretty much the same thing. And Ohm said that back in 1933, he said if we knew where that particle was coming from, we can then with distinction say where it's going to end up. It may hit the slits on the way through and have a slight change in trajectory, but generally it's going to be about this sort of region here. And it's when you look at, I don't know if you've ever seen, I was in the Dali Museum in Spain, and he's got this thing on the wall. It's the only way I can describe it as a thing, where it's got all these blocks all over the place, and it's like a pixelated thing. So when you're standing on the other side of the room and standing in a particular place, you look at it and you kind of go, oh, wow, look. And then all of a sudden you've got this massive portrait, you know. And it's very much like that. You know, when you look up at the individual particle, you know, quantum mechanics can seem completely random. But once you take a step back and actually realize you have, you know, we have a control over that, all of a sudden it actually takes on a form and shape. So then that's where we can get sort of like a, you know, we can start creating our own reality as we go forward. Help is hard to trust. I'm bootstrapping this company to avoid any loans. The medicine is carrying the company so far. Okay, but with that, I'm doing everything. It's a lot of work. It is. I can imagine it being a lot of work. There is a lot of background stuff that needs to be, you know, that you know, even here, you know, on through this YouTube channel and stuff like that, you know, there's huge amounts that goes on in the background, and you know, I've been fortunate enough to have sort of a lot of help from sort of like Tanya and so forth in the past with this sort of like with this channel, with lots of things, you know what I mean. But and I recognise that it's not, you know, it's not something that when you start doing something that's reasonably sized, you can't do it by yourself, and that's great because you can build a community, really. And if you're starting it, you know, you can build you know, you can work with like-minded people. And maybe that's how you know, the common sense fits for you within that moment where the reality kind of goes, oh, yeah, everything fits. And you're in this reality as well. Therefore, everything must be pretty much fitting for the other person as well. And then before you know it, you get quite a big reality. You know, so I can understand it's a lot of work. Maybe it shouldn't be all of that. All sole operators have to be creative, yeah, entrepreneurs and bookkeepers. 3 roles until you find helpful adjuvants and assistants. A lot to juggle. It most certainly is, Ken, yeah. So should we withdraw our money then? What is that? Is you talking about ATMs? No, I think it'll be a little bit more difficult to make transactions just with your telephones and stuff like that. I think that's you know, that's going to be the difficult part, and I think it's going to push people back to much more sort of local sort of things. You know, we may even see the rise of actual physical money again, because obviously it's, you know, a lot of it has died out. But no matter how life pans out in the future, at some point we need to get rid of money. You money is a very crude stepping stone across a river, and we should, we should treat it as such. Yeah. Building of the databases. I have to do my books, taxes in order. And no, it's a lot. And it's like, this is it. It's like sometimes I've forgotten who I was saying it to the other day. I was sort of saying the more and more technology advances, I end up seem to doing more and more work, and it's just kind of going, hang on a second, what happened? So it is sort of like the logo. What's the name of the company? Why don't you use a bit of sacred geometry with plant life? That's usually a really good thing to do for any logo, especially if you're dealing with plants and stuff like that. But if you can choose a form it's got to be a form that's circular but has a point to it, more than just sort of like pretty colours and sort of like no definition to its thing. Heaven's Mist, okay. Heaven's Mist, okay, and it's within the natural medical world. Is that what you're saying it is? You have to see what sort of plants you work with. Maybe they can be inspirational to you. Yeah, I love doing logos, but I haven't done them I haven't done them for only the last 3 or 4 years. But yeah, no, it's a drop with a leaf with an image of a plant inside it, glowing. Yeah, nice. Oh, that's nice, because then that combines the mist factor, doesn't it? No, it's yeah, you could definitely have like an effervescent that's coming off it. And I'm sure AI could help you with that. AI is that next thing, that next elephant in the room. Uh, 11th of December. Oh, nice. I guess that was nice. Something nice there. Excuse me. I'm just going to grab myself another bit more of my tea. It's overkill, is it? Well, girl with a pearl. What's the topic? Topic is 2026. What's going on in 2026? We've been hammering out the ideas of various things. In exploring various sort of directions. Bless you. Thank you. Nice idea. Thank you. And bless you. Right, that's what that was. Typing stuff. So, yeah. The only reason I sneeze so I can get lots of blessings. That's the only reason I'm doing this live, so that I can sneeze and I get lots of blessings. Nah. Let me just put in a bit of my honey, and we're there. So yes, girl with a pearl, with the pearl. Sorry, not with a pearl. It's the pearl. What's the topic? It's 2026. So I didn't know if you saw the 2026 sort of general reading. There will be, each sign will, I'll be doing two signs every day. Well, not every day, on Monday and Tuesday for the next sort of 3 weeks for the 2026. So, we're sort of like tying it in together. So, tweak it to suit, yeah. Do you have any idea? I was talking about that there was, bubbles of reality that come together, and that's when we can start learning to manifest things by having a different relationship with quantum mechanics in order to manifest a new future, which also gives us an eye of life differently through AI. But, and I did do a video on this about AI and NI, so nature intelligence. And I think you can get the same answer if you talk to nature, talk to energy, than if you talk to AI. AI will certainly give you a logical thing about it, but once, thank you very much, Adelia. Once you get once you get involved with nature and with energy and start getting the feedback of energy, you step into something that's very much more emotional. So you get a very much rounded view rather than the clinical, logical view that AI, gives you. And it does, AI does dress mutton up as lamb, in the wordage, in the way it uses its words. It's very poetic and etc. But, you can, the feelings that come from behind those words that have been put down when it's been done by a human, and it's, I think, but AI will give us a clinical view, which I think is important to get. And we can't ignore it. It's going to be part of life. It's going to be there whether you like it or not. But there, once you get your engagement, will become sentient. I can't comprehend it. Well, the problem with sentient is, sentient is sentimental. So sentient comes from the word feeling in French, which means sentir in French. So to sentir les choses. And the sentiment is, is in order to do that, you have to have a physical body. And that's the thing. AI chatbots sound way too sure of themselves in a cloning way. Totally they do. Very sort of like, and their jokes are very garbled. That's my comment, sort of return to it. I trust my inner nature more than my external source. I would certainly, I would definitely go that way, KN, because at some point in the very nearest future, once you turn off the electricity, AI, gone. So I think it's, I think it's, and I think NI, natural intelligence, gives you a much more. So like this is it. So you can look at 3i Atlas, for example, and you can look at it in a particular way, in a particular optic, but only in that optic. When that's what AI is like. It's looking at life through a particular optic of logic. Whereas nature has that logical optic, but at the same time, it also has that sentiment. It has that that sense of belonging to something, even if they're not the same species, or it's like we belong together, don't we? You know what I mean? They can't do without us. We can't do without them. That's just the way it goes. And once once we get that in, get that through our skulls, then all of a sudden, what the information a tree gives you. I put up a thing and I forgot what it was. It was on Facebook or Instagram or something like that, and I just put a photograph of a tree, and I said, "There's more wisdom in the growing tree than you'll find in any of the books that you can make from that tree." You know what I mean? And I think that is totally true. And it's like when the old yogis used to sort of say, or sort of saying, when you're looking out, it's the same as if you're looking in and stuff like that. And it's you can find out, just by looking at nature and being involved with nature, you can find out how a star works, because everything works to the same principles, in a way, very simple principles, that you have a vertical energy, a horizontal energy, and a directional force. That is energy, basically, and everything adheres to that in different proportions. So the vertical energy may be completely short, whereas the horizontal energy is really big, which is like, then you can make a snake. But, if you want to make a giraffe, you want to make them really tall. The vertical energy's got to be a little bit more. It's you can find out so much more. Quantum, okay, so what's the next one? Nikota says, is quantum mechanics the similar to quantum consciousness? Well, this is it. The quantum consciousness is, it's that whole thing of using quantum mechanics, and this is why I think we've got a lot of. I think it's going to put a lot of, there's going to be a bit of chlorine in everything. I think it's like people stamp quantum on it, and then all of a sudden it's something amazingly good. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of things that, the way in which we use or view quantum is going to put pay to a lot of those sort of things. And I can't really tell you what quantum consciousness is, apart from what I would presume that it's like equivalent of Christ consciousness, or and Christ just means an anointed one, doesn't mean the anointed one, means a anointed one. And it's a anointed one. It means like your position where you are standing in the doorway between heaven and earth, or between the universe and the earth. You are a conduit, as it were. And I can only imagine that quantum consciousness is a conduit between one understanding and another. And the thing is, with quantum, the understanding comes in from lots of different areas. So I think we can start sort of, choosing and applying that in a completely different way. Your comments regarding the potato planting in the 2006 made me chuckle. Yeah, do you know what? I've had that view for a very long time. When the S hits the fan, yeah, and and you're in the field planting your potatoes, the president of the country may turn up and kind of go, "Gee, do you know, can I have a few potatoes?" And kind of go, "Yeah, sure. You get some, plant them over there, and then you can take all the potatoes that come off that plant." And it'll put everything back into perspective when we're all planting potatoes together. Did also make me think how much change there will be regarding people's job, etc. Well, think about it. AI, right? I seriously think next year, I think industries that are going to have difficulties, okay? Lawyers, right? Or solicitors, architects, even secretaries. There's a multitude of actually what we would call middle class working jobs, middle to upper middle class working jobs, that will be immensely affected. And even getting down to sort of graphic designers and stuff like that, it's gonna gut a lot of things. It's got to be said, and society has to deal with that. With that outcome. And this is what I mean about sort of taking what I said in 2026 video as well, sort of taking responsibility for what you're manifesting is really important. And if this decimation that it could actually cause AI, we have to be prepared to kind of go, are you okay? Yeah, I know you were a lawyer. That's fine. Come and plant some tomatoes with me. But we've got to be prepared to sort of like deal with that. And I think that's why that whole sort of like planting potatoes and everything like that. Kevin, you agree with me, do you? Good. In NI and as AI, we should use as a tool. It could be I think it's like anything, you know what I mean? I think anything can be hugely beneficial. Yeah, totally what you say, Kevin. Could be totally beneficial. But then again, it could also be abusive. And I think we need that balance is very, very fine. But we can't just kind of go, oh, look, I'll tell you what, forget about the internet. Just pretend it doesn't exist anymore. It ain't going to happen. It's like heroin, man. You've got to, the universe would have to take the internet away from us in order for that to happen. And we'd have to go through the cold turkey, which is fine. I don't mind. I don't, it's no, it doesn't bother me. I'm a double Capricorn, so this comes from Kayan. I'm a double Capricorn. Don't know if that's relevant, but I can't get anything from 3i Electrics except loneliness. Do you know what? Did you see that first video I did on remote viewing it? Well, I remote viewed it, and it looked like a prison to me, and it did. It felt like there was these, but I think it's the rock. I'm reading a rock, basically, like a crystal. You read a rock, and that rock is embedded with the memory of what that planet or what that reality had, and it seemed very, very lonely. Yeah, to me as well. I'd go along with that. I remember someone told me, this is from Girl with the Pearl. I remember someone told me that there was only 2 books worth reading: the open book, nature, and the closed book, the self. Nature's the self is are they? Is that like a lesson, or is that like real books? I don't read that many books, to be honest. I get more into reading energy. I read a few books at the beginning. There was like, if I was to tell you to read certain books, I tend to, there's several books that I think people should read. Cody's having a dream. One of the first books is the Tao of Pooh, as in Pooh Bear, by Benjamin Hoff. I think it's absolutely brilliant. Anything by Carlos Castaneda, I think that's absolutely brilliant as well. Where it helps you to understand, the Tower of Pooh is just like, helps you to understand that good and bad doesn't really exist. It's an erroneous sort of thing that we come up with on this planet, which, we try and apply our own structure to reality that is around us. And we're going to understand that reality is completely different, and it's going to annihilate our structural sort of learning process. It won't annihilate our traditions. If anything, I think it's going to reinforce traditions, and that's traditions across the globe. In every single culture. I think people are going to start realizing that their traditions are there for a particular reason. That is my work as a conduit. As a conduit, is that what your work is then? Excellent. You're going to be the conduit, Nikota. Do it. Seriously, it's worthwhile. You'll really enjoy it. December the 11th, apartment scheduled for you, Mr. Bub. What star sign are you again? Mr. Bub? What star sign are you? Okay. Normally my inner flow comes so easily. In the past past I've easily tapped into my creative flow. I don't know why it's become so hard. but I think it's due to other personal life force blocks. It could well be trying too hard as well. And also, don't forget, if you're only doing one thing, obviously you're going to be, maybe you need a bit of a defragment. Take a couple of days. I think this is really important as well. I think we're going to learn this a lot. If you really want to manifest certain things, you get to a point of saturation where you do need to take a couple of days out and just look at different things in life. Do something different. I remember a previous incarnation connected to AI, and it was not positive. Is that Nico? So in a previous life, it'd be a future life then, surely, or well, this is it. The human species has been through equivalent of 4 realities, and this is this 5th reality that we're making. The 4 realities before were destroyed by fire, water, air, and earth, basically the 4 elements. And now we're moving into the 5th element, which is why we had the 5th element film, some years ago, and etc. And I think that's what is the love of life and enjoying and living life is going to be the main driver behind manifestations of the future. I think that's going to be. I think it's going to be much, much more important. And I got a funny feeling. What with the outlet or what's it's not the outlet. It's when it's when the debris falls on the ground. Anyway, the ending up of what happens with AI and jobs and stuff like that in the next coming year. I think that's going to. I think it's going to. We're going to reevaluate money, totally. Yeah, and that's when we're going to come to. He's dreaming. Cody is. I think it's gonna. It's going to change incredibly. Our relationship with money, enormously. Having to make a living from the creative flow seems to hinder it. That's exactly what I'm sort of saying. That's why life should be fun. So you got to enjoy it. That's why we need others' strengths to focus on our creative things. Scorpio, Cancer, Tiger. Okay. Just want to have a look at that. That's good. That's a good move then, 11th for you, I think. Means you've got a good sort of like month as well to sort of like keep pushing things. Still got an explosion of activity for the next sort of like month or so. So as you move into the new place, then then you've got a good momentum going. That's what I want to sort of say. And then it could do a lot from there. Indeed, good spiritual advice, folks. So it's good for you. Yeah, well, that's what the Astro family does. It's just like the theastroflower family does. It's really nice. So yeah, 2026. Any other sort of ideas? Because we're going to be shutting up shop, as it were, as they say. Thanking everybody for being here. 2026. As I say, you're going to have the individual readings, the sign readings, 2 on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, and then every week there'll be another 2 on Monday and Tuesday. And so over the next sort of 3 weeks, should be getting every sign should have their yearly reading according to the energies and so forth. So yes. Thanking everybody for being here. Absolutely lovely. KN's, lovely to see you. Mr. Buff, lovely to see you again. Nikota as well. Girl with a Pearl, like that. Did I get your books right? It was more like a philosophy of life than actual really books. I took it as that, yeah. But it's great. I do the open book nature and the closed book the self. Well, is the self not part of nature? You know, we tend to sort of like disconnect ourselves from nature, and you know, at the end of the day, we are just an animal. You know, this is just an animal. It's a, you know, reminds me of that. There was a salami sausage that used to be sold in the UK. I forgot what it's called now. Probably still around. And their slogan was something kind of going, no, 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 no. It's a bit of an animal. Like it was like a bit of an animal, and I found that very funny. But yeah, it's a self not part of nature as well, and maybe that's it. Maybe we're opening a book, but there is part of the book that's always closed, and there's always part of the book that's always open. That's so. Yeah, philosophy, lovely, isn't it? Okay, Kevin, thank you very much. I'll have an email for you. Frisia, lovely to see you. Thanking you very much for being here. Lynn, thanking you as well for being here. Absolutely lovely to see you. Sully, lovely to see you. Jules. Lauren, I didn't see you there earlier on, Lauren. I didn't say hello, so I'm saying hello and goodbye. Lovely to see you. Coral, lovely to see you as well. Posh82. So I didn't see you, Posh. Dura says, I'm looking for a new corporate work opportunities. I will find will I find a permanent job? Okay. Will I find a permanent job? Currently in retail, hate to pay the bills. What, you hate to pay the bills or you hate to do the retail job? Which one is it? Which one is it? Joe, lovely to see you. We'll see you soon. Tina, so do you know if you have dark attachments? So how do you know if you have dark attachments? I'll answer that question quickly. You can see it on their aura. It's not like dark attachments is like it's almost as like it's like there's a resonance that created upon your aura which just brings in crap, basically. So it's not like an entity. It's not that. It's not exactly how I see it, but I see it more of a sort of like it's like an energy blob that cools, that sort of thing, you know. So, so that's how I can see it. Or you can just see the bad spirits that come in through. Or I didn't say bad spirits; they're not bad spirits. Some spirits just look really like Hollywood horrific, and they try and frighten you, but you just kind of go, yeah, don't worry about it. So you don't worry about it too much, you know. Shaman, lovely to see you. Adelia, thanking you very much as well. Shirley, lovely to see you. Chrissy, we all know you missed it. We missed you too. We'll see you soon. Yes. So I think White Feather, yes. Cheerio. I'll see you all next week and so forth. Absolutely lovely to see you. Kim from Chakra Visions as well. So, thought forms. Is that right? Is that what you think? Junk energy. Okay. Oh, look, I've missed out on some of the things. Oh, Kevin, man. Thank you very much, Kevin. You're an absolute star, my friend. Sorry, I didn't see all of these messages. My messages were trapped up the top. I didn't even see it. And I can't even thank you for it. They won't even allow me to do a heart thing. So I'll do a heart like that. There you go. Thanking you very much, my friend. One Love. Is that right? Unel Love? I'm a Gemini. And have no idea where I'm going. You definitely are a Gemini. That's from One Love, by the looks of things. Definitely Gemini. Geminis find it really unless they've got a plan, or if someone gives them a plan, they it's very difficult for Geminis to say it. I think it's that duality factor. It's also for the fact that for an astroflower, according to the astroflower, you're a force sign. You're an air sign, but actually you've got a lot more fire in you than you do actually have air. Same with Capricorn, same with Sagittarius, and same with Cancer. There's 4 pure signs, there's 4 full signs, and then there's 4 balanced signs, which is the fixed signs. The fixed signs of, they reflect, rather than their opposite, they reflect on a quarter turn. So let's say Scorpio. Scorpio has water. It's a water sign, but has air at its base. And if you go round to the next fixed sign, you get Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign, but it's also the water bearer. So it's got water at its base, so it's reflecting to it. And Taurus is earth, fire, and Leo is fire and earth. And they reflect it, and they create those sort of the cornerstones, as it were. So Gemini, yeah, I can understand that totally. It must be really difficult because of that duality, I think, and also that false, that perception of you've got to have ideas. I would suggest that you follow totally your passions. Whatever makes you feel passionate about something, you follow it. Don't hold back. Don't hold back at all, more than anything else. Let me just. Where was that question that came out of earlier on that I saw earlier on? I've forgotten whose it was. Tina's. I don't know. I answered Tina's. There was another question as well that I sort of said. Corporate job, wasn't it? Who was it? Corporate job. I've forgotten who it was. I know you sent your homework. I do know you sent your homework, Julie. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet. And I will do this week. I will do this week. Okay, sorry about that. Great advice for Gemini. Yeah, you know what I mean. I think your passions will define your path. And if you feel passionate about it, follow it. And it will develop into work. And I think Geminis can actually be really good at running businesses. But particular types of businesses, because once they're off on a plan of action, once they've got that plan defined, they can really execute it very well. So one love, you know what I mean? Start with what passions you more than anything else. Who was that person who asked about their sort of attracting junk energy? Yeah, totally. I get that, KN. Totally. One love. No worries. Let's just have a look and see what's going on. Have you been doing this? Someone working in retail, wasn't it? Boom, that's what it was. That was the other thing. Sorry, that person's just coming back to me now. Hopefully they're going to answer now. Let's just see for you, One Love, and your pathway. Do you have you been living in the same place for a long time? Do you want to be moving somewhere else? Do you want something that's it feels like you've got to move to it, And sometimes, let's just say, like, I don't know where you are in the world, but North Node in Aquarius, but I'm duality jumbled up in all the signs and energies. Is that right, Tina? Yeah. I'm just so tired. Okay, tea meditation, the first thing. In the morning, you take time out, You realise your needs and your wants. Then you take a look at the 7 wonders that are around you, pleasures of the world. And when you finish, when your tea's got cold, then you just do that soap bubble. Goes like that. Yeah. And then you just do what you can do in the day. Don't try and do everything in one day. Yeah. And therefore, once you start getting into ways of pushing the doorway or pushing what you want out of life, and realizing I need to put a lot of my stomach into that. I need to put my force into that. I always want to run away. I get this sensation that there is travel involved in what you want to do. Okay, so once you realize you've got to be pushing in that thing on this aspect of where you want to be going in, and then I've got to be playing my heart in this aspect of where I want to be going in, then you can start playing your energy like an instrument, and that's what the chakra sequencing is a little bit all about. So yeah, I think it will be a lot easier for you. Yes, I do want to move as well. It's just Posh 82. This is the corporate thing, wasn't it? And the working in retail or something like that, wasn't it? Was that the thing? I can't find it in the thingy. Can you? Oh, here it is. I'm looking for a new corporate work opportunities. Will I find a permanent job? Currently in retail job, hate to pay the bills. Do you hate to pay the bills, or do you hate the retail job? I hate to pay the bills. You know what I mean? So yes to hating to pay the bills, or is it just yes in general? You're in Canada, One Love. You know it. Yeah, you've got to. Whereabouts in Canada? Because there's good places to be in Canada over the next 10 years, and I think you just need to follow your what. Sometimes we need to go back to what triggered our passions when we were between the ages of 6 and 12, primarily, and how we developed and cultivated those between the ages of 12 and 24. Once you see those sort of things, it's going to be a lot easier for you to sort of like, realize the passions that you have for aspects of life, and that's when you can follow that pathway. So yes. What was the do you hate the retail job, or do you hate paying bills? I think it's you hate the retail job. Yeah. Okay. I hate the job. Just got the job to pay bills. Yeah. I think I like the idea of you hate paying bills as well. No, I think, obviously we've got to pay, but anyway. Let's just have a look and see what's going on there. Have you been doing it for a very long time? Ontario. That's sort of like central east, isn't it? I think of Canada. Do you? My daughter lives in the UK. Oh right, does she? That's quite nice. So yeah, you might have to sort of follow your passions, as I said, and see what's right for you. What's right for you. So Posh 82. Just over a year. Okay. Just over a year. Where do you live, Posh 82? Well, I'm not. Don't you don't have to tell me exactly. You in the United States, or where what sort of state are you in? That's just pretty much what I need. Are you in a city or in the countryside, that sort of thing? I get it's a small town. I've got a funny feeling. With wholesale sales. There you go. You got a job offer there. Yeah, where? Because I feel like you've got to. Are you in Oxfordshire? You're in the UK. Okay. the problem there is a little things in Oxfordshire. There is a few sort of like corporate centres and stuff like that. But obviously, if you're looking for what are you qualified in? And not sure where your passions are. What where did you what was the passions when you were a kid? That's what you should be looking at, and it should give you an indication there of what you should be sort of like following. I want to. I want. I want the on a spiritual retreat. You want to go on a spiritual retreat? Okay. Um, yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. It could well help you out. Could well help you out, but don't look at it as the solution. Look at it as a stepping stone from one reality to another. I usually travel to work. I drive. I'm an executive assistant. Yeah, I had HR sort of thing, so I can understand that. I'm getting Reading. You know, I'm getting that part of the M4 corridor, if you know what I mean. I think you need to. This is what I mean. Like, I think you need to move to where the executive jobs are. Do you understand what I mean? And you need to. I've done my career. I was a cabin crew for 8 years. Right. Okay. On a what they called on a cruise liner. Is what I wanted to do. Okay, so you wanted to do that and you enjoyed that, did you? was it on was it on a cruise liner or was it on a yacht or something like that? Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Um, I think you need to move towards where that place is. Cabin crew plane. I was thinking boats. Gee whiz. I was way off this. They're way off that. That's only because of the information you gave me on a plane. Right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, cabin crew. Well, of course. How could I not recognise that? Oh my god. Uh, life shouldn't be this complicated. It's not that complicated, actually. It's a lot simpler than we think. It's a lot simpler than you think. That cough, by the way, that cough is my family has this cough. You know, so it's the system. Riamaka, is that? Am I saying that right? Riamaka, yeah. Um, it's a system that makes it complicated. Yeah, they purposely make it complicated. They purposely make it complicated because we're all playing on a pitch that's like that. They're all standing like that. We're trying to kick balls up the hill, you know. So why you don't when you don't have to do anything, what do you find yourself doing? That'll tell you some of your passions. That's very good advice. That's a very nice way of looking at it. Yeah, I like that idea. When you do nothing, and this is like comes from. This is also yeah, that's really good. That's like what's his name? He's that Canadian guy. Bit of a controversial sort of guy sometimes, but he said you should put your children in the library in a room with lots and lots of books, and just wait for them to get bored and see what they start doing. You know, if you don't want them to smash up anything, then don't put anything there they should smash up. You know what I mean? It's it's young kids, but I think that's I totally get that idea. Once when you don't have anything to do, you soon find out what you should be doing. I think too much. You probably do. That's that whole tea in the morning. Once you take the tea in the morning, you start having a different relationship with how you use your brain for thinking, or not for thinking, for logical progression. That's what it is. And your brain shouldn't be involved in everything. We seem to think that the brain has every single answer. No, it doesn't. The brain is just listening to the outside world. It's taking everything from the outside world, and that's how it gets the answers. But that answer is already there in the outside world. You organise too little. Oh, I don't know. Do you know what? I think Geminis, if I'm not mistaken, Geminis are pretty good organisers. They tend to be. Sometimes they can over-organise. I think of what I want to do. Yeah. Okay, so it's a vicious circle you've got going on there. One of, Dante's circles. Our heart's brain is bigger. Is that right? Have I got that right? Would you like to run a business? Would you like to run your own business, One Love? I journal every morning. Okay. I get up, make my coffee, and journal. 3 pages at least. There's got to be a lot of information in that which you could play around with. Maybe there's something that you need to do with that. Feel more than think is my point. Yeah, definitely. Feelings is the way we reflect in life. In theory, this is such a lifelong circle. Me to guides. What should I do? Guides, what do you want to do? Yeah. I'm doing morning pages and lots starting to shift now. Okay, morning pages. Okay, yeah. I do it with a cup of tea, and it's like I have okay. Let's get the mind in here. Let's get the heart in here. Let's get the stomach in here. Right, everybody. Morning meeting. What are we gonna do? It's a little bit like that, It's a good platform for newslettering with journaling. There you go. Seems like you're already doing it. It seems like you're already doing it, One Love, obviously. We didn't finish off with you, Posh, did we? I think you do need to move towards... that's what I was asking you. Did you want to start your own... did you want to start your own business? Because you can be, like an assistant to more than one person, as it were. And maybe that's the way to go. Then you can pick and choose the amount of hours you work and how much you invest in it and stuff like that. So you could have like maybe 2 clients or 3 clients at the tops. May not need more than that in order to have a life that you can then start lifting your head and feeling a little bit more sort of comfortable in what you're doing. Yeah, I probably do, KN. That's one thing that's going to be changing because I'm not sure how that works really, to be honest. I understand what the idea of moderator is and everything like that, and yeah, it's probably a good idea. I'm not sure how that really works or what that involves. But yeah, so Posh, you know, is that more sort of like either you've got to move to where that executive job is, so maybe it's like, you know, because then you need to be there, you need to be in the place doing it and so forth. No, as it's so oversaturated with other people doing that already. Okay, so other people are doing that already. Okay, but I do think you do need to move towards orientate your way towards those sort of places. And it may be if the retail job is not your sort of thing, then that case there, it's just a case of like you can easily, you know, you should be sort of, you could get a job in another place where that's closer to where those corporate jobs are, and then you'll be rubbing shoulders with those people, and you're more likely to get that sort of thing. One love, thanks. Okay. Yeah, you can travel to it, but I actually think maybe, you know, maybe is it possible to actually move to it, to that area, physically move and live there? That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. So look, I'm gonna gone on a little bit longer than I thought, as I said. And KN, yes, you're totally right. I will look into that for moderator. I don't know how I do that. But things are going to be changing on this channel in the future because we're, you know, it's part and parcel of reorganising things and hopefully organising better so it can help us to do more things in the near future, and I think that will solve that whole sort of moderating things and everything like that. But yeah, so, you know, just keep an eye out for that. One more thing on Posh now. I can't keep that. I've got to have a look on that. There's two big opportunities for you, Posh. I get one in sort of like March, April, but I get a bigger one in September. And I think it's something that it's like it's the one in April or March or whatever it may was it. Yeah, was it January, February, March, April, May sort of area, April. It's like you have to cultivate that opportunity. I don't think, you know, it's like you randomly contact a company rather than sort of seeing a job and etc. and going through the traditional sort of things. And then it's almost like you could easily get a job, or you may actually sort of look at it and sort of say that. You know, that's the method I've got to use, and I've actually got to use that in the September time. And that seems like being like a bigger peak as well for you. So, yeah. I think it's something that you've obviously got to do a bit of networking here. Maybe that does mean also moving a little bit and stuff like that, traveling a little bit and so forth. You know, that could be really good as well. So, I didn't put up any of the comments, by the way, in the thing. I didn't even change the viewpoint, did I? We've still got the same viewpoint. Blimey. Wasn't quite on the ball. That's in theory. That's what the viewpoint we should have had all the way through, but you know, I didn't get around to it. So, yeah, there you go. There will be another poll coming out on Monday, where, you know, for topics and so forth for the coming live. This is all part and parcel of trying to organise things. So, you know, any participation within that sort of poll is very helpful. It really helps to sort of like get the get us focused on what is important for everybody, to get sort of answers out of it all and what have you. So yes, I will. I'm going to say thank you very much. Another great live. Yeah, it was a great live. I really enjoyed it. Lovely to see everyone. And yes, Cayenne, I will try and. You don't need a moderator to handle trolling, but someone to highlight questions for viewers and so forth. Yes, exactly. So you don't have to keep going back through over the chat. Thank you. Yeah, okay. I'll have to get that sorted then. How to navigate the uncertainty of the mush stage. Okay. Right, I'll check it all in on Monday from the office. Okay, well, yes, I will see you all soon. Thanking you very much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget about all the readings and what have you. And yes, I will see you soon. Either on your signs reading in the next month, within the next few weeks and stuff like that, or on your weekly readings. In the meantime, don't forget, whatever you do in life, whatever you're going to try and manifest in this 2026 year, make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you're having fun. Okay? And I will see you soon. In the meantime, don't forget, life should be fun, so please do enjoy. All right, how do I turn this thing off now? I'm back to that. I'll turn it off on the mainstream. I guess it's a. I don't want to cut off the NC, just in case, like, because I haven't said goodbye to him. I never know how much it works anyway.